Cocos, welcome back to episode 51. In this episode, we're going to be talking about creativity. Have you ever been stuck in a creative rut, frustrated with that one thing that's supposed to be your creative passion, or have been producing the same thing for too long? We totally get it. As artists and content creators, we've been there so many times. So in this episode, we're going to tell you how to get out and escape from the circle.
Hello and welcome back. I just forgot that we were on video, so I'm just like staring and I just like,
I had an unintentional millennial pause because it gave me an error message and I was like, holy, but it's fine.
Man, this is going to take getting used to. Like people are going to really see us in our
best and our worst. Like, oh no.
And for the people who are just on their like hot girl walks, yeah, I'm glad you missed that chaos. Hello and good morning or afternoon or evening. Welcome back to the Coconut Grove.
Yeah, welcome.
Katie here. So you get to know my voice.
I'm just going to say right now, like we were talking before we started recording and Katie was like, I think like winter has come quickly and like caught me a cold. And I'm like, I am fully in the middle of my cold. You're going to hear like weird vocal changes and like congestion. And I'm doing my absolute best. I am fully medicated and I've been drinking water like there's no tomorrow. But I'm so sorry, guys. Like,
oh, it's okay. The raspy voice is always, it's like an accessory of winter. You know what I mean? Like you just got to work it. Like you just have a little bit of a raspy voice. You pretend that you smoke 2 packs a day and you're in New York and you're, 65, like living your best rich life. Yeah. So you just got to own the voice.
Okay.
It's hot.
I'm going for it.
Yeah. Ashleigh, should we head to the lounge?
Let's head over to the lounge. Cats, welcome. The cats are like,
I told you. Oh my god.
It's okay. We also like I said, I think all of our collective animals are just like not cool with this time change. Like I'm not doing very well, but like definitely they are not doing very well. They're like, why are you starving me?
Yeah, honestly. And he should not be meowing, that little rotten boy. He knows better. So I might have to like step off screen for a second while you fill us in. I have my headphones so I can keep listening. But you might have to kick off the lounge while I let this one in. Okay. What is your story and fun update?
Okay, so I'm so super excited because we actually were asked if we would like to do a collab with this newish company. They're called Ephemeral Tattoos, and there are a few locations all over the country. One of them is in LA, and we're going to be partnering with them to do some little baby tattoos in the next couple of weeks. So we have been thinking about what we're getting and what we, what's meaningful, but also like not too hard because the concept of ephemeral is that it's made to fade. So yeah, you're going to watch us get tattoos on a video very soon. But I don't know. I guess I'm just super excited because I am also like nervous and it's a big deal for me because I don't have any tattoos.
Yeah.
And
you brought it up like maybe twice on the podcast already. I think. If not on the podcast, when we've had conversations about the podcast, you brought it up.
Yes.
So it was fate.
It was totally fate. So I'm just like, here we go. And it's pretty cool too because we're going to be interviewing the CEO, Jeff Liu, about a week after our appointments. And we'll give you all the, we'll spill the tea on how this works and if it's a good idea for you to do it and, give you the inside scoop. So I'm really excited for that episode and like just getting a tattoo. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I will also let you know like if it's more or less painful. But then again, like than a regular tattoo. But then again, I'm thinking of putting it in a very painful place in the first place. Like
rib
I kind of
cage.
want I kind of want a rib cage. And I feel like that's the easiest one. If it starts to fade, like I can cover it up. You know what I mean? But if I wear the right shirt, it will look really cute. So it's probably
Do
my
you know what
move.
you're gonna get?
Not yet. I have a Pinterest page that I have started to build up. Um, oh, have you been doing your mood boards, by the way? I updated my
Yeah.
November mood board and it's so cute. I should share mine with you. We should like exchange.
Yes.
You're like, what's your mood board? I'm
Please,
really proud
please
of mine. Like
do.
every month, I'm so proud of mine, honestly. Um,
Yours are so cool. Yeah, no, I just have one for like general fall on my phone.
cute. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine. Well, let's see. Like turn off the Google notification, but yeah, not that you can really see
Ah,
too
so
much.
nice.
But yeah, I love it. And it's like I have one on my desktop that I can see because I have like my tabs shrunken down so I can like look like I'm looking more at the camera. And then I can see like on the outside is like the rest of my mood board. It's cute.
That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, it just like gives you good vibes all day.
Yeah, yeah.
So what are
Okay.
your updates? Tell
Yeah.
us.
All right. For the Cocos that follow me on Instagram, you will have seen something rather interesting this weekend. I went to two screenings of movies that are not out yet in theaters or screening or streaming, I should say. Um, and both had like Q&As with cast and like production staff. So the first one that I saw was Pinocchio, and not the Disney Pinocchio, because I think there's like another one with Tom Hanks. This one is by Guillermo del Toro, and it's a stop motion movie. And I was so freaking blown away and so inspired by this movie. Um, like as somebody who wants to work in film, and then just like as like a person who feels like Pinocchio sometimes, like I can't. It was like, oh, it was so good. I'm gonna get emotional, and I haven't got emotional
Really?
yet, but it was so like Ashley. I can't tell you. It's like you'd think like Pinocchio. Like we know the story of Pinocchio, but what made it so special is like the level of artistry in this movie. It blew me away. Like, and like the thing is, like watching the movie, I could like tell some of the things that like were different about this movie than other stop motion movies or other tellings of like known like folk tales, I guess. Um, but there were like key differences in it that I feel like were super intentional, and then they were pointed out during the Q&A, and I'm like, yeah, I got that. Like I knew exactly what you're going for. Like for example, they asked Guillermo like what like led him to like making this movie, and he was like, oh, this movie has easily been in the makes for 20 years. It's one of the two movies in my life that I had to make. And he was like, it's
What?
my story. He's like, Pinocchio is my story. And like you could feel that in the writing. And then he said something really funny that I just want to call out because I thought it was hilarious. He was like, whenever I have like a really good actor and they read my script, I'm always like, damn, I'm a really good writer. Like he's like, it always tucks up his ego because they were talking about like the casting and like how it was to like bring these people. And he's like, every time they get I have a good actor reading my thing, I'm like, damn, such a good writer. And I was like, I feel that. That's hilarious. Yeah, so they had the voice of Pinocchio there. They had Finn Wolfhard, who plays, oh shoot, what's his name? He's one of the kids in Stranger Things. I guess he's the one who is with 11. What's his name? He's the dark
Oh,
haired,
the main
tall, lanky
character.
one. Yeah, he's the main one. He was there, and he is hilarious because he just definitely looks like a teenage boy who just has to go to these things because he's supposed to. And just
Mike
his
Wheeler.
demeanor. Mike? Is it Mike? No, I don't think it's Mike. Mike is Winona Ryder's son. That's not the one I'm talking about. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
shoot.
thinking of Will
I'm just kidding.
Byers.
See? There we go. Will
They all
Byers.
look so much different than like season
Yeah,
one. Oh my
they look
God.
crazy different. Yeah, anyway, so he was there. Um, and what else? Oh, so the funny thing with Finn was that he like the Q&A person was like asking him stuff, and he answered the question. He's like, actually, I also have a question. And then he leans over to the filmmakers and he's like, how did you do the water scene? And they start explaining like, oh, it's like, you know, we don't do everything stop motion. Like we have to digitize some stuff. And then they were explaining like, oh, like, you know, if we were to put real water in a stop motion world, like it would be so evident that it's fake. Like you have to use materials or things that don't look like water on purpose in order to make it look like water for stop motion. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Anyways, so yeah, that's a bit of my story, a bit of my fun update. I did see another movie that same night, also with a Q&A. I didn't like it as much. But my friend who I went with, she did like it. She called it like a warm cup of soup. And I was like, yeah, I get that, but like not in the same way. Like to me, it was like bland British, like like a pot pie, like a bland British pot pie. Like it was like, it's fine. Like it was comforting. Like it wasn't bad, but like it was very British. So, but she also didn't like Pinocchio. So, you know, not that she didn't like it, but there are some extreme choices that they make in I'm not going to spoil it, but there's some extreme choices that they make in this Guillermo del Toro version. But I appreciate them.
So when is it coming out?
It's a Christmas movie. I think it comes out like December 24th. Yeah, in theaters.
Oh, cool.
I think it might be on Netflix also, but it's also dropping in theaters. And I would highly recommend seeing it in theaters because, I mean, it was beautiful. And definitely worth seeing on big screen.
I will definitely be seeing that in theaters. That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm going to see it again for sure. I'm going to take Esther because I'm like, oh, it was so good. I'll see it again. Yeah. I'm going to like, that movie is my second favorite stop motion movie after Kubo and the Two Strings. Well, fun fact. But anyways, I won't take up any more time. We can keep lounging. Onto the sunshine medicine.
Yes. Well,
okay, so tell us.
Mine is not really quite as exciting as your movies. Those are so freaking cool. My sunshine medicine. Cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really rolling us back a little bit here. But my sunshine medicine is my new sweater because it's literally keeping me warm and cozy and it's super cute. It's is the perfect coconut grove green and it says California. And I looked up the shop. It's called Shop Trevu, and I guess it's a French name, but she's a Latino woman-owned business, and she curates all sorts of brands. So it's super, super cool. We're following them now, so
nice.
Check it out.
Sweet. Yeah, I was just texting you the other day. I was like, oh, by the way, I meant to bring it up like 3 times how much I love your sweater. So, yeah. Okay, so I have 2 sunshine medicines. And one I can show on camera, kind of. So I've been obsessed. Oh, a little ASMR too. I don't know if you could hear that. Maybe not.
Oh, I was like, were you hearing me sniffle?
No, sorry. Okay, so I'm eating Deux, which is like raw vegan cookie dough. And this is their pink frosting flavor. And okay, I'm going to plug the Skinny Confidential for the second episode in a row, which makes me sound crazy.
No.
Because I was like, I started out, do you remember how I was like, at the very beginning of this podcast, I was like, I don't care for the Him and Her podcast, but I kind of like it. But like, I don't know. I was on the fence. And then like now I'm like buying like their branded cookie dough. I just feel crazy. Anyways, it's so good though. I'm obsessed. And not in a way that it is like, you have to buy it online on the Deux website. I can't get it in person. So I had tried their other flavors and I liked them, but this one I love. And it tastes like, it's kind of fruity. It's like pomegranate, I guess, and dragon fruit. So, oh my gosh,
so good.
I know. I have 3 more. I have 3 more jars in the mail on the way.
Oh my God. Obsessed.
I told you. And that's probably my like 9th jar. Those will be my like 9th jar, I guess. 3, 6, 9. So that's like my third order of 3 jars. So like 9 jars.
Okay, we need to like partner with them. You can't afford this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I had some coupons. I'll put some
That's
coupons for
awesome.
this it's probably going to sell out by the time this episode is out because they've been like basically saying every week or every day for the past week that it's going to sell out and it hasn't yet.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm like, I don't
I
know,
bet
should
it
I buy
will.
3 more jars? I'm just kidding. We're going to we looked at the ingredients and Nestor was like, oh, I can make that. Because the funny thing is Nestor is also obsessed with it. It's not just me. That's why we have to have 3 jars. It's so good. Anyway, so that's one of my
I can
sunshine
totally see him.
medicines.
I can see him taking over and just being like, "It's Nestor's dough."
Yeah, he was talking about something like that too. It's pretty funny. Okay, so this other sunshine medicine is kind of random. It's just a little unexpected for my sunshine medicines. And it also only became my sunshine medicine like an hour or 2 ago. Um, Ethiopian jazz.
Oh,
So
what?
I, yeah, right. So random, right? Like for me to be like, that's my sunshine medicine. Okay.
Where do you hear
E-
this?
okay. I saw it on a TikTok. And they had like the jazz playing under and they were saying something like, oh, when you discover Ethiopian jazz. And I was like, oh, I like that. Like, that's really nice. And so I like click like a hashtag, I guess. And it like brings me to a bunch of other videos where people are like, oh, you have to listen to this like one group, I guess, or this like one compilation, or I don't know. Um, they have like 40 volumes of music on Spotify. And like there were a bunch
What?
of videos being like, you have to listen to this volume will make you feel inspired, and this volume will make you blah, blah, blah. And like I click on one of them, and this video was like, oh, like listening to volume 21. And they had like one of the songs, and I was like, oh my God, that music is incredible. So I go to Spotify and I find
That's so cool.
this like collection of music. Okay, so it's called I might mispronounce this, Ethiopiques. They're this collection specifically is piano solos. I don't know if all of them are. Okay, but the crazy thing is, I'm listening to this as I'm getting ready for this podcast, and I hear this song. I think it's called Mother's Love. And I don't know what if this song is from Ethiopiques or if it's from something else. But I recognized it because I recognized it from another album that I listen to pretty frequently. And it's a piano album, piano solos that the artist FKJ did like last year, the year before, I think like for quarantine. And that's one of the songs I listen to all the time, Mother's Love. And I always thought it was their song. But yeah, oh, you got to listen to it. It's amazing. Like it just like, I felt my troubles kind of melt away. So
I would put it on right now, but I'm sure Andy would be very pissed off
yeah,
with the
might ruin
sound.
our audio. Yeah. Yeah. So Ethiopian jazz.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's like so outside the box. I love it.
So
That's such a good
crazy. But it's like,
suggestion.
yeah, exactly. I felt like it was great for our creativity episode too, because I feel like that's something you could put on in the background and just like really feel like good and feel happy and like work on something. It's such good jazz, upbeat, not boring, really interesting. Definitely like it probably has some science behind why it like makes you feel like good. But anyways, yeah.
Mm, I love that. You've got me
Yeah.
remembering 2 things I need to talk about later in the episode, so I'm gonna write them
Oh,
down.
good. Tippity type. Okay, cool. Well, the next thing is what I'm looking forward to. And I can just go while you're tippity typing. Um, because you're kind of involved in this. I'm going to be hosting a Friendsgiving this year. And I'm really excited. And Ashley and Mike will be
What?
coming. Really
Yes.
excited.
We'll
Yeah,
bring some kind
so
of delicious side dish of some sort.
yeah, so speaking of, might as well tell you here on the podcast, Nestor and I had a bit of a I wouldn't say argument, but a bit of a misunderstanding on how Thanksgiving goes.
Okay.
So I also assumed it would be a potluck style, and then I'm talking about the plans, and then Nestor get very confused because Nestor thought that he was cooking a full plated dinner for everybody, and I'm like, "Mm,
Okay.
right?" So I'm like, I don't know if that's what we were doing. And then he was like, "Well, what's the point of Friendsgiving at our place if I'm not cooking everything?" I'm like, okay. Like,
Wow.
you put that load on
He
yourself.
really takes ownership.
I'm like, listen, nobody wants you to do that. Like, if you want to, that's fine. But like, nobody's expecting that of you at all. All of us are expecting to provide something. That's kind of like the Friendsgiving part of it. So TBD on if we do plated or like potluck style. We haven't
Oh my
fully
God.
resolved that conversation yet.
That's like so incredibly generous of him. Like, I just assumed I was doing everything. I'm like,
I know.
okay.
I
You
know.
don't
He's
have
like, I
to.
got a whole menu planned. I know, a whole menu. I'm like, okay. So I'm not sure. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, if you're the chef, like, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
You know?
We'll just pay for tickets and show up at 6.
Right? Anyway, so maybe bring board games. At the very least, if you don't bring food, definitely bring some board games and we'll play some. Anyways, so that's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm so stoked too because like we didn't get to celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So like
perfect.
This is so nice for us to be able to have Thanksgiving round 2.
Yeah, we were nervous at first that you weren't going to be in town because I know you travel for holiday stuff. But I was like, wait, Canadian Thanksgiving already passed. They're going to be in town. They're all
it's
mine.
Not a thing. Yeah, I have nothing going on.
It was perfect.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited.
It's perfect. So speaking of not being in town, what I'm looking forward to is Nashville. Yeah. So we're heading there next
Nashville.
Wednesday for like 4 or 5 days. 4 or 5 days.
Nice. Have you been before?
Yeah. No.
Ooh, are you going to live your country
I don't know
dreams?
what to do. What should I do?
Okay, well, I haven't been to Nashville. I haven't been to Nashville since I was, I think, 20 or younger. Like between 18 and 20. I wasn't technically, I could not drink. Not to say I didn't, but I technically could not drink. So I don't know what there is to do like bar wise, but I am like, I imagine like karaoke and line dancing have to be like everywhere. There's, I mean, probably just like a lot of that, a lot of drinking and dancing. That's what you do in Nashville. Listen to music. It's the best. It's a beautiful city too.
Yeah.
We drove through on the way to my grandma's
what I've heard.
When I did that road trip. And I was like, hi, bye.
Yeah. Nashville.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's a conference, so I'm sure to be busy for like a million hours a day. But the cool thing is, and like we're gonna check out stuff, but the cool thing is like these big corporations that like do the genetic testing in our field, they end up like having all this funding and they put on all these incredible events where they fully cater. It's an open bar. It's free. It's literally free. And there's one every single night, and there's usually an after party at some kind of secret location that you have to like get the name of through like a weird Twitter feed. It's literally like 5 days of insanity. So I'm sure to come back just like absolutely exhausted, but I'm excited. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, no, that does sound really fun. I mean, take advantage of every free thing that you can get when the company pays for it, honestly. Because that's like part of what you earn. So if that's the perk, then milk it.
I know.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, at the very least, it's very pretty. So hopefully you can take a step outside and get some coffee. I think the coffee is also pretty good there, but
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a go. I'm sure.
It's been a while. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you want to double take and tell us what your what's hot is?
Sure. So I was pretty obsessed with like getting some good savings at the Sephora sale, and I've been needing to like stock up on some things. So I watched about 10,000 YouTube videos and stocked up on a number of things, and a lot of them haven't arrived yet. But one has, and I'm obsessed. And this is my what's hot this week. It's the Natasha Denona Dream Palette. I think I'm saying it right.
I haven't heard
I
of
will
this.
open it.
Tell us.
I will open it
Show
for
me.
you
Yeah.
all. It's so beautiful. It is.
This is
It's an
YouTube, girl. You
eyeshadow
got to give
palette.
me
I
a
have never
swatch
splurged.
too.
Okay. You want to swatch? Okay, give me
Yes.
just half a second. I'm going to swatch my favorite colors.
Okay.
Okay, watch me swatch. Here we go. These
Or
are
listen,
my. Oh yeah, I'm
ASMR
obsessed.
swatch.
Kate.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of noise. Okay.
It's okay. The
I'm
Cocos
swatching
believe
my
that you are applying. And they're desperate to
1,
see the
2, 3.
colors.
Oh,
Eyes
I've
on
kind
me?
of mixed them
Sorry,
up now.
that was an impulse.
Here we go. Okay, guys.
Okay.
I've swatched my like 6 favorite colors.
All right,
Look at these.
us.
They're so okay. Wait, they're
Okay,
so
nice.
pretty.
Yeah. Ooh,
Like honestly,
cute.
like look at
Very
this.
autumn-y.
Look at this like orangey
autumnal.
gold. Yeah,
Yes.
autumnal and like just like the most like
Yes.
gorgeous
The
colors for
sounds that the
green-eyed
Cocos
people
just
or
heard.
blue-eyed people.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, that's like literally my everyday. I've been holding that back for a year now, so get ready to like see more of that. Now that you have video and we can't edit it out.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm
that's
sure
a
you
good one.
experienced that on your solo. I experienced that on my solo. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't pause. I have to be seen the whole time by myself. Keep going.
I have to keep thinking. Keep going.
My brain doesn't move that fast.
You can't be phased.
Yeah.
By making a mistake.
Man.
You're like,
I know. Yeah. I think I like misread something like 3 times and I was like, all right, here we go again. Yeah, reading on the spot is hard.
How you really make a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my turn. I'm going to roast all of you biatches for coming at me about this platform Uggs on Instagram, Ashleigh. You straight up turned on me before you straight up turned on me. You turned them all of you Cocos. Okay, here's the thing. I understand the images that you uploaded. I'm like, yeah, they're not wearing them right. They're wearing them like silly little girls with their silly little leggings. That's not how I wear my Uggs with my straps, with my little slingback straps. No, it's fine. But anyways, that's what's really hot up here.
I want
to bring it back.
I want to give it a fair chance. So you should definitely like do a story of you wearing your Uggs so that all the Cocos can be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We've been looking at it through the wrong lens. We've been looking at it through 2011, and it is not 2011 anymore.
Yeah. Although I will say, I think I did put on, I went to IKEA a couple of days ago, and I put on like this matching sweatsuit with the Uggs, and then I had like my jacket over it, and I was like, oh shoot, this looks very stereotypical. But I went with it because I was comfy. So maybe not all the time I can make it fashionable, but I will make it comfortable.
It's like, it's an easy slip down that slope, you know? Like, you can elevate the Uggs to the pinnacle of fashion, but you can also just like go falling straight down into the ravine and be like in fashion hell. And it's so difficult to know where that one last rock is going to be before you make that drop. So I get it.
Yeah. I think the thing is, you know, for 2023 early predictions, I think we are living in some type of hell, whatever that is. I think people are just like tired of having to care about what other people say. So,
well,
anyways,
you're welcome.
That's
for
one of my 2 things.
Drama.
Yes, we needed something. Okay. We needed some drama, some tension. And the Cocos who are too shy to say that they're hot, that's okay. You can come out and say that you also think they're hot. You don't have to hide. We are not afraid.
We'll give you another opportunity. I'm planning on doing more polls to get the fire going.
I can't wait. Okay, so here's another one. Let's see if the Cocos like this one. Flannel / dadcore winter. So I'm thinking like Nestor put on this great outfit the other day, which was like baseball cap, like plain navy blue t-shirt with like a sweater and then like a big jacket over, and then he had like the most dad sneakers on, and the flannel was like, I don't know, it just looked like he just finished like building a bench in the garage. You know what I mean? So I was like,
I
that
know
is a
exactly
fire
what you mean.
dadcore fit. Does Mike do it too? Is Mike rocking dadcore winter?
Fire dadcore fit.
Yeah.
Mike's been rocking dadcore since he was born.
No, is he rocking dadcore winter though? Is he got the flannel like that
Specifically
like
winter.
lumberjack vibe?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of feeling it
He's
myself
definitely, he
too.
layers up his little flannels.
I love
Yeah.
it. I got myself one too. A
It's
little one from
actually really hot
Abercrombie.
though. Oh,
Really?
cute.
I've been
Yeah,
freezing.
it's really hot. I'm not even kidding. Like, whether or not I agree with this trend, you're totally right on the dad core because
Oh, I thought you
like
meant hot like temperature. I thought you meant it was like too hot for flannels. And I'm like, no, it's not.
oh
I'm
no,
cold.
no, no, no. It's very cold. I'm so cold.
No,
um
it's a
it's
legit trend.
it is. And I think there was like at the end of the summer, I think people were kind of like, "Oh, dad core," and they tried to like make it work for summer, but it was too late because I saw like people wearing like those running shoes and like high socks to the gym, and I was like, "You're trying, but it's not quite there because your outfit's really cute." But
Yeah,
yeah, you're
right? Like
totally
it
right.
needs to
It's
bring
like
a
hitting
little
hard
bit
for
of
winter.
like, yeah, it needs to bring a little bit of ruggedness, a little bit of like, I don't care. It's got to kind of be ugly in a good way. Yeah.
I know.
Anyways, okay.
Hard to achieve.
Let's dive into the episode. 30 minutes later. I literally shared this to Ashleigh. I shared this meme to both Ashleigh and our editor, Andy, and I thought it was so funny. And it was like a tweet, and it was like 40, every podcaster, 40 minutes into the episode. Okay, let's dive into the topic. That's us. That's us this week.
Yeah.
We really
It's
try. We
literally
try,
us
but
every day.
we had a lot to say this week.
Well, it's
Okay,
fine.
Ashleigh, tell everyone the episode goals.
All right, guys. So we are going to sort of talk about the creative rut. That's one way of putting it. I don't think it's going to be like entirely a rut based conversation. We'll try to spice it up a little bit and talk about the more positive sides of that as well, and bounce some ideas back and forth with each other, especially on our personal experiences. Then we want to give you some somewhat actionable ways that you can reset and get out of these loops or these down times and fuel that creative energy. And then lastly, we're going to see if we can like find those ways to push limits. Like, I think that's what creativity is truly all about, is pushing like either cultural limits, societal limits, like limits of yourself and the way you think or others think. So like I want to discuss that with Katie and just see where we're at on that topic. So those are kind of the three main points, and we'll just dive into part one. Hey, happy holidays. What are you going to get for gifts this year?
Oh gosh, such a good question. I actually have no idea. I'm stuck in a spiral of trying to decide what's a good gift, what's a bad gift, and what's just going to get thrown out in January. Do you have any ideas?
I totally get that. Yeah, I totally get that. Have you thought about puzzles?
No, absolutely not. Puzzles give me old man vibes. No.
Okay, not puzzle. A puzzle makes an ordinary night feel like a party. Their puzzles feature fun and eclectic designs like my favorite, balls in your court, which show off disco balls because you know I love to dance.
Wait, that looks really cute and really fun. What other designs do they have?
Okay, so I have picked out my second favorite, which I think is perfect for you. Sugar Daddy, because of course, Nestor is an amazing chef and you guys love fine dining.
I'm literally obsessed. Okay, how much do they cost? Let's be real. We're in a recession.
Um, I know. Actually, their small bundle set is pretty great. It's $52. But get this, we have partnered with Puzzle Puzzles and we're giving away a gift set for the holidays and one for the Coconut Grove anniversary.
Oh my gosh. Okay, give me all the details, please.
Okay, so for the main winner for the Coconut Grove anniversary, we're giving away the 4 pack of the 1,000 piece puzzles, which features our two favorites, and two other designs, which are Nectar of the Gods and Roll the Dice. And
Is there a runner up?
for yes, for the runner up for the holidays, we're giving away their two 500-piece puzzles. That's Cool as a Cucumber and Pie in the Sky. Super cute.
I'm literally obsessed. Okay, where can I find them year round? Because these are definitely going to be more than just a seasonal product.
Totally agree. So if you want to go and pick up any of these for yourself at any point in the year, check out puzzlepuzzle.com. That's Pezel puzzle.com and use our promo code. Guys, we have a promo code COCOANUTGROVE 20 for 20% off your first order.
Dang, that's a great deal. Okay, I'm officially stocking up now. Thank you so much, Ashleigh. Okay, what is a creative rut? How would you define that?
So I'm just gonna like speak from personal experience, and hopefully this aligns with some kind of creative person. Let me know if this sort of registers for you. But in my experience, a creative rut is like every sort of thing you try to produce, make, generate, or like think about just kind of comes out like crap. Like it just either you're not like you're not able to make the thing you have visualized, you're not able to visualize anything at all, or you just have like no motivation to even start the process. So it's just like this down feeling. It's like there's no flow state and it just feels like so much effort and so much energy to do anything but like your bare minimum, your regular baseline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, it's like that definitely like starting the process, like feeling like I have an idea that I can kind of like see and it's really fuzzy. I can't like make out exactly what the idea is. And I feel like the longer I stare at it, the less clear it becomes. You know what I mean? Like it becomes blurrier. And I think that's when I'm like, feel like I'm forcing it. That's when I feel like I'm able to say, okay, you're in a rut, sit down, like just consume something or like turn your brain off. But like right now, you don't have the energy to make, and that's okay. Or you don't have like the thought to make. Um, so it feels like really disheartening. And it feels like, especially, I'm sure you feel the same because like as creative people, we feel like that's like our power, right? So it feels like you feel just like less than average, you feel boring, you feel incapable of everything. Um, so those are like my creative rut, like I don't know, pinpoints, targets. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, I love what you just said. Like, I absolutely feel that. And I know that's kind of like a, not a point of contention, but like it's something that Mike doesn't really understand. Like, I'll paint, and if I don't like what's being produced, like, it's not that I have to be in love with the piece, but it's just like, if it comes out more than like 20% different from what I was expecting, I just get like really pissed off. And I didn't really realize until you said that that's because like my power is creativity. Like that's like what I'm really like on this planet for. And so when it just like is lackluster, it just makes me feel personally that way. And I just love that you said that because I was never sure why I'm always in such a bad mood. And he's like, "Oh, you did something with your art and it didn't go well. You're going to be pissed off for the rest of the day." And I'm like, "This is true, but I don't know why. I thought it was just crazy."
No, it's definitely an artist thing. And I've seen this image where it kind of like shows the artist process. And it's like basically like just kind of this incline, and then it's like a plateau forever. And then it feels like it dips, but then it goes all the way back up, and then it like plateaus, and then it dips and then it goes back up. It's like when every time you feel like you've done your worst work ever, like you are on the precipice of doing the best you've ever done, like reaching like
Hmm.
overpassing a hurdle basically and kind of like moving on to the
Yeah.
next phase of your
Hmm.
like style or um yeah, like whatever lesson you've been really learning and focusing on an art, you're going to kind of like learn that and then be able to move on and be able to learn new things, whatever that kind of
That's
art
so
creativity is for
interesting.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
Vision
that
of
like
something.
registers in your life too, like with your paintings?
Totally. That's exactly how, like, if we're talking about like visual medias at the moment, like they say that your ability to assess art is it grows at like a more rapid pace than your ability to create a visual art. This is probably the same for like someone who's writing as well. But
Yeah, I
I
feel like
feel
it
this
could
so
apply to a
much.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're like, I feel like I'm constantly like on my phone, like looking at images because I enjoy them. But then it's so hard not to compare yourself. And I know that I'm just like engaging that like ability to critique. So I know my ability to critique art is like here, but my ability to produce art is like here. So there's always that artist gap. And it's just like I would say like every 3 to 4 months, I get like this one where I'm like, yeah, I've just nailed it. It's like the best piece ever. And then I've started noticing that the time where I love that piece is shorter and shorter and shorter. So like I would say maybe last year, like I would love a good piece for like a week. And now I love it for like 2 hours. I'm literally like already like seeing the flaws and it doesn't go back. It's like garbage to me
Do
already.
you ever notice that people always love your least favorite piece? Like, do you ever find people saying like, "Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with that," and you're like, "Why did you even look at it? I was gonna throw it away. That's my least favorite thing I've ever created."
Yes, that's such a good question. And I could actually ask you the same. Like, I feel like that's the most critical part of creativity, right? Like is that pushing boundaries. And the thing that makes you feel uncomfortable about that piece is maybe what makes like the world say someone was brave enough to put that out there in some kind of medium and we're just loving it because I wasn't brave enough to think that thought or visualize that
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Yeah, it's probably like the like rawest that somebody could see your work is like the work that you don't like. Because there's probably some
Yeah.
sort of vulnerability there with it for why you don't like it, or like something about it that you're insecure about that other people probably wouldn't even process. Like, because to them, they're seeing something that's probably unique, that they haven't seen before. And that's probably why you don't like it. I don't know if I just
Hmm.
repeated what you said. Um,
No.
that's kind of like
No, it's
how I was thinking through
interesting.
it.
Do you have a particular like personal experience of that brought it up for you that you can think of?
With what specifically?
Like
You'll have
is
to like
there
rephrase.
like let's say in your you've been doing art, but you've also had a pretty strong history with photography. Is there anything that comes to mind where you're like it was such a hit, but you were really worried about it or
Oh,
it
always.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess like the first time that I could really point out the experience was when I was learning how to like so I brought it up before. I took like an AP art studio class in high school. And that was the first time that I had to do like other mediums that I wasn't used to. So that would come up all the time. Um Especially with my parents, right? They'd be like, "Wow, that's amazing." But it's like, that's your parents. But there would definitely be like paintings that I did that I didn't like. For various reasons that other people would be like that's the best thing you've ever painted, and I'm like, okay, thanks, I don't like that compliment. um or yeah, especially in my photography, there will be like I will want to throw a photo out of an album because I'm like it's completely inadequate to the rest, and then somebody will say otherwise. So yeah.
I think that's so interesting. And especially with photography too, when like I feel like your work is compared within a body of work. Like if you do a shoot, like you're right, like you're kind of comparing like one to the next to the next. So it's really hard if there's like one image that just is standalone gorgeous but doesn't necessarily fit. So then like you're judging it harshly against like the wrong metrics because it has to like
Yeah, and with
fit a group.
photography
I don't know.
too, like for me at least, I don't know for everybody, you get an opportunity to experiment a little. Like you have your idea of what you're going for before you go into it, but you always have like a moment of let's try this. Let's try and see. So there's definitely like moments where I'd be like, well, I tried it, I didn't like it. And then other people would say, I really like it. And then I would say, too bad. I'm the artist. I make the decision. I don't like it. um,
Exactly.
but sometimes I let other people in. You know, I'll be like, okay, you like this
You can
one?
keep it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that's right, like, you bring up a good point, like, it's really hard. I think it's hard to let go of what you see as, like, your best creativity, your best product, um, and, like, accept that feedback. Like, I think creative people are used to receiving feedback, whether it's literally in, like, formalized crits or you're selling your work and your clients are your customers or your critics, or if you're just online or it's just, like, for yourself and you have to be your own critic, like, criticism is always a part of creativity, and I think yeah, well, I don't know what I think. What do you think? I don't
Yeah,
know
I was
how to,
gonna
like
ask, like, yeah, do you incorporate that still? Like, you did bring up a good point. Like, I remember taking critique classes, or not classes, but like having days of critique in art class where everybody would sit down and look at everybody's work, and then we would say stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like that did build us up in a lot of ways. I don't think anybody was ever negative or ever saw it in a negative way. I think it gave, at least for me, a healthy way to look at critique. Like, it's not that it's bad. It's like, if it were me, this is what I would do, you know, and you can learn from it, or you can take it for what it is and then leave it. Like, you don't have to accept critique as like fact. So, yeah. Do you
yeah.
invite critique? Like, or do you kind of shy away from it in art or creativity?
Mm, I mean, that's really interesting. I think that's, like, one really huge amorphous question and then one very specific question, so I'll address the specific question first.
Yeah. Whatever's
In
easier.
I think yeah, I gotta mull that over. In art, I think I actually accept critiques almost to a point of a fault because I want people to be so satisfied with the piece they receive. Like, my worst nightmare is for someone to, like, take a piece home, not like it as they thought they would, and then, like, never hang it. So, I try to be so ruthlessly, like, honest with myself and with the client, and, um, like, I have redone paintings for people, and it's been, like, really upsetting, but I absolutely, like, praise those few clients that were, like, honest enough because I never would have learned. And, like, some of the things were very, very small. Like, for example, with, house portraits, like, I may have got the color just slightly wrong, and it may have been because of the photo I received was on, like, a cloudy day. And it hurts to hear that, like, it doesn't look like the right house, but when I got it right, they were so happy. So, you have to kind of, like, take all of it and just like see what you can learn. But for that specific example, now I tell people like a huge list of things I need to know before I produce anything for them. And I give them like a realistic expectation of what I can possibly conceive for them.
Yeah, so
And
at
you
the
know
end of the
what?
day, it's kind of like it's uncomfortable for everybody, but at the end of the day, like, everybody walked away with something from it.
Exactly. But that's kind of like you you like you said, you can choose to incorporate whatever you want, but I think it's important if you really wanna, like, stimulate your creativity, it is important to take other people's feedback, whether or not you change anything for it, because you're gonna, like they say, if you read a book or if you live a life, you live one life. If you read while you're living, you live, like, a million lives or whatever that quote is. I think if you take other people's feedback, like, you're seeing your art through, like, hundreds of other people's eyes. From their cultural perspective, from their lived experience, literally, they might see different colors, they might read something differently, like, ha
I
isn't
guess,
that,
I
like,
mean,
an
to me,
amazing experience to get from someone?
yeah, I think for me, that kind of brings up the point of like, art is always up for interpretation. Like, there comes to a
Totally.
point where if you were to listen to everybody, then the art is for everybody. And then it kind of just doesn't, it loses its meaning, it loses its purpose, it loses kind of like the reason why you did it, right? Because I think for a lot of artists, they do it for themselves, most selfishly. But I think it's like, it's just kind of what we do, because it's like, this is what we're driven to do, this is what we're passionate about. And we incorporate and we learn where we can. But there's like a certain point where you see some artists that kind of like stand their ground, and they've come out with some incredible work because of it. You know what I mean? It's because people don't like their work that they work even harder on their own style and ignoring the feedback, like hearing the feedback, but kind of like ignoring it and driving even further in the opposite direction into something that they discover is, for them. Right. So it's like, if you take it, you're going to go one direction. If you don't, you're going to go in another. Neither is like the right direction. But I think either way, it kind of like propels you.
It has to. That's exactly right. And I mean, it depends what your creative passions are for. Like, let's say that you're going to try to make money on something you're selling. There's going to be people standing in your way that are going to limit you from selling that thing if it's not what they want to buy. So that's really hard. Um, but if you have the luxury to create things that are available freely and enjoyed freely, I mean, yeah, you should definitely listen to the feedback, but do what you want. Like, just take it for like, oh, that's how someone has perceived it. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
because like, I mean, some of the most famous artists were the first for a reason, right? Because they were like brave enough to just go against the grain in some way. So if you feel compelled to go against the grain, then do it. If you feel like you are needing the feedback and you're accepting and welcoming the feedback, then I think just continue in that direction. Like, your artist's mind will know and will kind of like direct you for what you need. You just kind of have to listen to it.
Yeah, like
Do you agree?
how will your artist mind like pipe up? Like, is it a feeling?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's like, it's a feeling, it's like thoughts. It's kind of like the whole thing. Cause I also feel like, um, it personifies itself a little bit in me. Um, do you feel the same? Like, do you feel like kind of like driven, like your whole body is like, I'm the artist now. Let's be an artist. Like when we had the
Mm,
art day, right? It's like I kind of felt like driven in all directions.
totally. And I feel like when I receive feedback like that stops me, I get very annoyed, you know? It's like a wall on the highway. Like, I'm trying to drive around you. Like, why did you put this here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you Are you good at ignoring feedback too? Like if you disagree, are you able to continue, or does that usually kind of like stop you where you're at and you're like bored of whatever you're working on now?
Oh, that's so difficult. I feel like it throws a wrench in things for me. It really does. It's
Yeah.
so hard. So I try to like ask for feedback at the end when it's like it's too late. It's too late. I'll do
Yeah,
something
lesson
different
for
next
later.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm kind of a mix. Like I try and do the same. I try and ask for the feedback later, but at the same time, like for certain things that I'm working on, I'm very like set in the way that I want to do it. And I think when I ask for feedback or invite feedback, it's just so I can understand if the eyes are seeing what I'm seeing. It's not necessarily that I have to like change it in order for them to like it, but I think I just need to refine it so they can see what I see. Does that make
Totally.
sense? Yeah, you're
Yeah,
kind of nodding
I
along.
think it does. It does make sense. I'm just thinking of like maybe you're acting, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I mean, with acting, the creativity is really hard because, like, a lot of it you have to draw from your personal life. So if you're not inspired in your regular life, it's kind of hard to feel inspired to like tap into other parts of yourself, you know?
I think that's like the perfect example for like how do you get a creative bump when you have nothing else to give? Like, especially for acting, if it's something that you don't immediately have a spark or a connection with, like, how do you get that out of nowhere? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, it's really funny because part of me wants to say it's the job. And then that kind of reminds me of something. The Pinocchio screening. The actor Christoph Waltz was also there. He's one of the voice actors, and I love him. I love all of his work. Um, he is very cut to the point, like no fluff, no anything. And the Q&A person was like, "Oh, like, is this different? Is voice acting different than regular acting? Like, how do you do it?" And he's like, "It's my job. I'm an actor. I show up, I have to act. It's my job. I come to work. I do the thing. It's not different." So I think that's pretty funny. And that was basically all he said. No roses to it. Just exactly it's his job. And he was very right. So I kind of feel like part of me wants to say that. It's like I'm sure if you paint for a living, like you have to push past the ruts, like no matter what. If somebody has an expectation of you, that's kind of like part of agreeing to share your creativity with somebody, like in a contract or like with money, right? Or like on a project. So acting, I feel like, is kind of similar in that way. But also at the same time, there are like things that you can do to hopefully like inspire yourself to like want to be there and like want to do the acting. So like for me, I'm probably for a lot of other actors too. It's always movies. It's always like specific films that just like show us why we're doing what we want to do and like show us that like the movies that we want to make are being made or have been made. Like it's not that, we have to force ourselves into the Avengers universe, for as an actor, like there's beautiful work being made, and if you don't make it, somebody else is making it and you can be a part of it. Like, so it's just like reminding yourself of that. And I think that works in probably every creative field. Like I think about that in writing too. It's like if I feel like I want to write, like I'll listen to music, I'll read poems, and I'll watch movies, like things that people have written somewhere on something to kind of like remind myself, like, yeah, just like kind of like how it feels to have something out there and like what you'd be working for.
But like, I guess the question I have for you then, because like I agree, like I do the same concept applies for me, but like how do you avoid reproducing something that's already being produced if you
Oh, that's
consume?
impossible. Yeah, that's impossible. Cause like that's something that I learned really early on is like everything that exists on earth has already been done before. Like if you look back to like the Greek and Roman times, we're doing things now that we think are original, but are not. Like we're human. Like graffiti is on tombs of like 4,000-year-old tombs, 4,000-year-old graffiti. Like we're not original. We're silly little humans talking on silly little spinning little rock in the middle of nowhere in a void in space. Like it's impossible. We're all interconnected, but I think that's the thing that we have to focus on when we're in that creative space is like realizing we're not that unique. We just need to be able to express that experience and have somebody relate to the experience of what we're seeing. So if we're creating something for somebody, whether it is for somebody's viewing or not, like it evokes emotion. That's usually why we're creating, whether it's like joy or peace or comfort or, um, you know, inspiration. It's supposed to spark something. So I think that's kind of like should be the motivator. I don't know. Did I answer the question? I feel like I'm spinning around.
No, you did. Your video stopped working on my end. I don't know if.
Oh, I can still see you and you're still moving.
All right, well, we'll just go with it.
Sorry about that. The
No, it
video
doesn't
will still
matter.
be there
I'm
for
just
the
like,
Cocos.
I
Sorry
hope
you
so.
can't see
Otherwise,
me.
like, we will insert a little clip art of Katie here at this point.
No, it
So
continues recording on my side.
okay.
Yeah, we're all good.
So I think, yeah, once you like relinquish expectations that you have to be entirely novel, yeah, I think it gets easier for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
because
back for me at least.
oh,
Hi.
good. Hi. Yeah, yeah, because like you, yeah, I think when you've relinquished all expectations or any expectations, like it's supposed to look like something, then you can just like let it be what it is, let it be bad twice, three times, four times, five times, whatever it takes, because eventually you're going to change one thing and it's going to be like, boom, that unlocked it, and now you're on that upward trajectory again.
Totally.
Like, okay, so wait, let me just quote
Yeah.
from The Haunted Mansion. This quote I loved as a kid. I was like, wow, The Haunted Mansion is so inspiring, because it was the freaking crystal ball. What is her name? Madame Leota. And
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, you try, you fail, you try, you fail. What happens if you try a third time, you fail again, and you just keep trying, or something like that? And I was like, as a kid, I was like, wow, that's so inspiring. Like,
Oh.
you're so right. And then he like breaks into the castle and he saves his wife and he saves the day and he wins. And that's the movie. Haunted
It's
Mansion.
amazing. It's so
Anyways,
true. Real
but
solid
that's true.
advice.
Yeah, it
It's
really
true.
is. So I really do think about that actually pretty often. Of like, you try, you fail, you try, you fail. You're gonna have to keep going until you finally have done the thing. It's just, that's the loop.
That's what you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, we have very specific ways that we feel creative and the things that we do that we consider are like creative outlets. But there's all like, we're just creative people. So we kind of like express creativity in all aspects of our life. So I wanted to ask, where do you express creativity outside of just painting?
Hmm. Well, that's such a good question. I feel like, okay, I think the podcast, I think that's a big one for both of us. I think like social media, I know that is like a weird avenue, but I absolutely love having
No,
an
I
aesthetic feed.
totally, yeah. No, I totally,
um,
totally understand.
you get that. I like to sing in the car to the radio. It's a huge release, and I try to like get on pitch, but it's never right. But I love that. And yeah, like fashion, if I can, fashion makeup, like that's like an avenue. And I absolutely like the weirdest, this is probably the most like bizarre and personal thing I will say today on this episode, but like a calming technique that I have for myself, especially if I want to go to sleep and like I'm kind of anxious, is I literally visualize renovating and redecorating a house that I know in my brain.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Did you ever play The Sims?
Yeah,
Or do you
it's like
play?
Sims in my head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
should just
love
get The
Sims.
Sims and keep playing. Play on your Nestor has Sim City on his phone, and that's his little stress relief.
Oh,
He
that's
likes
so
to build the
cool. Yeah.
towns. Yeah, no, okay, so to kick off of that, was that your last one?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, to kick off of that, I love to rearrange my house in real life as a
Yes,
creative thing.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe we've talked about that. Um, but yeah, I anytime that I feel like in a creative rut, I feel like the first place that I go is to redecorating my place, and like if it, especially if it's seasonal, it's the best. Like decorating for Halloween or decorating for Christmas or fall or winter or summer, whatever it is, spring. Just kind of like reorganizing and redecorating just makes me feel really
Like
inspired.
freshening it up, freshening it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I mean, there's so much wall space to use to just be creative with. So I think we're also going to repaint our apartment soon. So TBD,
Really?
by the way,
What
just going to
color?
plug that in there. Probably a green, because like our cat, you know how our couch is kind of like that greenish color, like seafoamy kind of. So probably not in that general area.
Pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be cute. Anyways, I also do like makeup and fashion. Um,
Totally.
but I feel like a Renaissance woman. I like theater, I like poetry, I like music. Um
And the opera.
uh, and the opera. I like the arts. Like um,
A little bit of alcohol withdrawal
yes,
shaking.
exactly, exactly. It was supposed to be a glass in my hand, but no glass. So
Just the withdrawal.
um yeah, exactly. Um anyways, yeah, I think those are like the biggest areas for me.
Renaissance
The
woman.
Renaissance woman, yeah. Exactly.
No, I
Yeah.
totally see that for you. I think you're more expressive than me. Like, maybe that's not the right way to say that, but I think you're more outwardly expressive. Like you're more comfortable with like those types of forms of art, whereas I'm more
Yeah,
like,
like the
I
fine
must
arts.
write it down in a little piece of painting. You
I
know?
love it. It's like I wish I could have that skill though. I mean,
Mm,
I
you
probably
do.
send you so many of those little tin. Did I send you the little tin on the airplane? Or maybe Nestor sent that to me.
Yeah, they flip
Um,
it open and they
yeah, but he drew like what was out of his window, and it was just so beautiful and so quick. And it was like he's like 30 minutes gone. And I'm like, oh, I would love to spend my time on a plane painting. Like I wish I had that. Yeah, it's so much harder. I feel like it's the easiest ways to express myself are like through my words. So like
but
acting and writing.
that's what I was gonna get at. Like, do you think that like everyone is creative, or is that like a gene? Like, is that
No, I definitely think everyone's creative, but I think there's like parental conditioning in some way or like societal conditioning of just like this is what we do, this is expected of us, we do this. Like if you grow up in a family who's convinced themselves that they're not creative and you've been surrounded by people who constantly say we are not creative, then you don't identify yourself as being creative and you don't ever get the chance to explore those avenues or express yourself or get to try in the first place. So people who say they're not creative just don't have enough experience. And I think that's the difference. It's like people who say they're creative they just have more hours in the book. That's it. We've just spent more time with this mentality. And it's not that they can't, it's that they just need to put their hours in. And then boom, they'll feel creative. But I think it's innately human. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's such a good point because like we all have creativity like when we're little kids.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's usually there. And if it's
Yeah.
not like gluing two toilet rolls together, it's because you like to sing, right? Like there's something about you that knows how to generate a thing from nothing. That's just that's part of all of us. I agree, but yeah, I can totally see that some families will squelch that and some families will like elevate that. And so it's really
Right.
hard for those people who have grown up being like I'm not creative to first of all realize they are and then find it in themselves and then like actually cultivate it. Um so like maybe the people that are listening that are like this episode is stupid, it's not for me, I don't have creativity. Like I challenge you. I challenge you to find that part of you that's been lost for all those years and address it cuz you probably
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it doesn't hurt to like experiment and like if you try something and you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. Like okay, for example, like I tried calligraphy. I hated it. I hated it. I spent like I did a full hour workshop. I thought I would be so good at calligraphy. I'm so bad at it, and other people got on so naturally. And it's not that I didn't have the patience to get better. It's that I just like genuinely could not find the peace and the joy that people were talking about. I'm like, no, I hate it. So that's fine. Like that's not my avenue. But other people who are really good at it, like that's what they're good at. And they're not going to be as good at the thing that I'm good at. Like I think everybody's a little bit different in that way. Like, so
I think
don't
there's like a
push yourself.
feedback, you know,
hmm
like a positive feedback like that's telling you like you're actually pretty good at this thing. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like the things that we're drawn to are like to watching or to listen to or like learn about. I think those are the areas that we should tap into to like see if we like to also do the thing. So if you're like really interested in like a specific type of music, why not try and learn that to play the music yourself? Like you don't know if you're naturally good at that type of music either. Have you ever tried to write a song? Like you don't know until you try.
That's so true. So that reminded me of something I wanted to share with the Cocos. Because there was a period of time, probably like COVID times, where I felt entirely drained of all creativity. And I heard good things about this book. I think it was from my therapist. Have you
Ooh, tell
heard of this
us.
book?
No.
Um, it's called Flow, and it's by Mihaly. Holy moly, there's a lot of letters in that last name.
Yeah,
C
we'll put
S
it
I K S Z E N T M I H A L Y I S. Yeah, no. So
Yeah,
this,
we'll put it in the notes, in the
we'll put
show
it in the
notes.
notes. So it's called Flow, and it's it's decent. I'm not sure I would recommend it as like your guidebook to getting going. But one piece I wanted to highlight, which I think kind of illustrates what we're talking about right now, is this picture. We can maybe do a little
Okay,
snip.
yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
So on the bottom, it says your skill level. So on the inner corner is like low and then high. And the bottom quadrant of the gray is boredom. And the top quadrant is anxiety. So, like, yeah, so skill across the bottom, challenge up the Y, and then anxiety on the top and boredom on the bottom. And in the middle is that white space, which is your flow state.
Ah,
Yeah, so I
interesting.
thought that illustrates the point well, that like you're looking for something that, like, you're looking for a task, you're looking for a creative venture that is both challenging enough to keep you out of the boredom state, so high enough that you're out of the boredom state, but not so high that your challenge is too great and your anxiety is overwhelming. But then you're looking to utilize skills so that um, you're not bored for the same reasons, but your anxiety is put to rest because you know you have like certain abilities that mean you can handle that specific task. So when you get in that, they call it the flow channel, you're in the perfect balance of anxiety versus boredom. And if anyone listening has ever been in a flow state, like for me, literally time is not a thing. Like I can skip meals and I'll tell you I'm a hungry
Yeah.
person and I can
Yeah.
skip meals, like multiple meals. So for me, when I conceptualize like this negative lack of creativity, I first think like I just have to get into a flow state. It doesn't have to be like the best creative flow state. It doesn't have to be a flow state for painting or of painting. I just need to remind the brain that a flow state exists and that it can get into them, you know? It could be anything. It could just be like
Yeah. Like your
sleeping.
life. Just like, yeah, get your life into a little flow state.
Get into a flow state. Like find
Yeah.
that thing. Like everyone's got it. Like there's something you know you're good at and that you kind of enjoy. So just like use that like as your little baby step, get in that flow state, retrain the brain. Like the brain is a muscle. Like it needs to be exercised. So like put it into a flow
Totally.
state every now and again, or like use the exercise to like get into that flow state. Like step up those little stairs and get into that flow state. And I think it becomes easier over time. You train your brain to get
Yeah.
into a flow state with basic things. You can, like you said, it's just my job. Like you can jump into that more easily the next time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's like the repetition of it. Of it just like it feels I mean, it's like driving a car, right? It's like the more that you do it, the better that you get until you get your driver's license. Like
Exactly.
but there's no, driver's license here with creativity.
Well,
um yeah, I guess depends. Did
maybe
you
you're
have
a
any
drifter.
other did you have any other suggestions? I see that you wrote something interesting over here for tapping
Yeah.
into your creativity.
Okay. So I was trying to that's why I was looking down earlier. Um there there's this recommendation. I don't remember the specific frequency, but it's brain frequency music and you can find it on Spotify. And it's a particular
Mm.
frequency. I think it's an alpha wave. Is it? You're nodding. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I Is it not hertz? I don't know. Wait, or is that the
Is
way
it
it's measured
hertz?
in? I honestly don't know, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't know what the state of the music is.
Shoot. Yeah, is it 3.2 hertz music? I don't know. I'll have to look it up and I'll have to put it as a story, guys. I'm sorry, but there's a particular frequency of music that I think it stimulates like an alpha wave. We really need to get
See,
another person on here with the wave knowledge. You know, we
yeah.
had our hypnotherapist. She knew a lot about that, but we need someone for like concentration waves to tell
Yeah,
us more.
yeah. That's kind of what I was wondering with the Ethiopian jazz of like, does it have something like subtle in there with like the music that just like triggers something in the brain? Because didn't they
Yeah,
say the same thing about like
maybe.
Mozart? So
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's probably all very true, but this music is like not pleasant. It is pleasant. It's pleasant to the brain, but it's literally just like sounds, like
Yeah,
ticks
like just
and
like
dings and
crunchy
weird
air
stuff.
sound. Yeah.
Yeah. And I tried it out one day. I do think it's a him and her recommendation from back in the day,
Yeah, I think
but
so.
it like it just like it fills the brain's want to think of something else, and it's like putting like the bumpers on the bowling alley of like your flow state. It's like
Nice. Oh,
stay
that's
in the flow, it helps
yeah.
you reduce distractions. It's kind of nice.
Have you
um
have you done like white noise, brown noise, pink noise, any of those
I don't know about
when you
pink
work?
noise, but white noise, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
have you
pink
tried brown
noise?
noise?
No.
Oh, yeah, so I think brown noise is supposed to be good for creativity specifically, and I don't remember what pink noise is good for. But
What
those
is
are
it
two
though?
other they're just like it's like the same thing as white noise, but like the frequency is different. I think it's like has something
Ah,
to do with
okay.
that.
That's
Yeah,
super
so
cool.
yeah, I did like the brown noise. That was nice. It's very
I
just
gotta write
like,
that down.
very calming. Yeah. Oh yeah, put it in our notes so we can add it for the cocos too. We'll link some brown noise.
Okay, done. Yeah, that's
Nice.
super cool.
Yeah.
um Well, do you think we should like jump in to like our more rapid fire like questions about how we can push the limits?
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Well,
Push it to the limit, 'cause we're in it to win it, yeah. Something like that. Do you
yeah,
remember?
that's what I was
I've
thinking.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. I'm so glad. It'd be really embarrassing if I sang all of that and you had no idea.
Mm-mm. No, I knew. I
Good.
got you.
The hot girls know. Anyways, yeah. How do you push your limits, your creative limits?
Honestly, I just like I think the thing I do is probably very bad for my health, but I basically like don't like set any boundaries for myself. So like that I'm kind of like an unreliable person from like Friday to like Saturday night. Because like often I like tune out, and like this is such a bad, like it is bad and I'm trying to get better. But I just like turn things off. I tune out and I just like zone into my own world. This is not every week, but this is me just trying to like
I feel like you
get
need
that
that.
back.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's totally normal, and I feel like a lot of people do that. A lot of people have like the moments of like, okay, I just need my space for like this little gap of time. And I was honestly so I was watching these TikToks today on this therapist talking about like the nervous system. I think I sent you one of them from her, but she like did a bunch of other ones. And wait, I don't know where I was going. What did you say?
Retraining the nervous system.
Yeah, no, but it was like it was something specific. It was like specific advice. I don't remember. Oh shoot. ADHD brain.
There it
It's
goes.
gone. The thought's gone.
It'll
Oh
come.
shoot. Anyways, what were you
Look for
saying?
the
It was like something
video.
about what you were saying, and then I was going to tie that in.
Well, you need to like turn off sometimes, and it's okay to just have like a leave me alone type of
Yeah,
day.
yeah. So I think she was saying something like that in one of her videos is like that's like a sign that your body is signaling to you that you have to take your break and you have to take your time off. So you have to like listen to those. So those are not things to ignore. So
Yeah.
if you feel like you're forcing yourself, or like part of yourself is forcing yourself to do it, it's because you need it. So
It's
maybe make
true.
time for that instead of like
Yeah.
feeling guilty for the time. It's like, nope, this is your time. This is Ashleigh's time. Every
This
week,
is
this
my
is Ashleigh's
time.
time. Yeah, I think that's totally healthy.
I think that's healthy, but I think the unhealthy part is when I sometimes have like 3 glasses of wine alone and stay up super, super late because I've somehow
It's a
become extremely inspired.
Friday. No, that's
Like,
not
there's
unhealthy.
so many.
It's a Friday. Let yourself have those, because I think that's your body telling you like you're not like we haven't for all of human existence existed on this 9 to 5 lifestyle. Like we have these like parts of us that, you know, are just kind of like part of being human, and like we haven't always existed in this society in this way. So I think that's just like part of the human pull of just like, yeah, just follow it. It doesn't always have
It's
to make
so
sense.
true. Just like try not to fight like those things that make it better, no matter
Yeah,
what they
because I
are.
mean, especially if you're in a creative space, like don't turn that off because you never know when it comes back. At least for
That's
me.
so true. No, 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 you're so right. It can be quite fleeting.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
do? What's
When
your
I'm
thing?
like when I need to push myself,
Push your limits?
um,
Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. Like usually I have it's like a lot of like pep talk, a lot of like you got to do it, you have to do it, you need to do it, like you want to do it, like all of those things of just like whatever it takes to just like move the hand, you know? And then yeah, for me just like a lot of revisiting things that I like, you know, to like remind myself what I've done in the past. Um like every so often I will go on this like I'll like look back at all the things that I've written, or I'll look back at my old photography or something just to like kind of spark that of like you're capable of doing pretty much
Mm.
anything that you want in the creative way. So it's like, okay, here's your chance. Like here's like the next thing that you're supposed to do. Um, so like in acting, if I'm needing to push myself, I'll have to go back and watch some of my other tapes that I've done, or like where I'm getting like critique basically. And then listening to the feedback and like taking that in, and then like watching the change, and then like being like, okay, like we did it then, like we can do it again now, and be able to like push yourself into that place. Push is kind of like a harsh word. I wouldn't always say that I like push myself. I guide myself into the
Mm.
place, you know, like
Well,
a
you like
little.
listening to your inner voice a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. I try to stay in touch with that, because I feel like I ignored it for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there's like a particular like setup that you have to like hear your voice better? Like, do you have to have like a hot shower, or like does it have to be first thing in the morning, or is it like when you're outside walking? Like, when do you hear that voice strongly?
The creative voice. Oh, it's so random. It's so random. Like literally when I was watching, I didn't expect to like Pinocchio that much. I honestly was like thinking it was going to be kind of lame, you know? So it's like moments like that where you're just like life just like blows you away, you know? It's like it just shows you something that you didn't expect you were going to see. So I think it's always and it's random, but I think I it's because I'm open to accepting that it is random. Like if I feel like if I wasn't, then I would only be feeling like I can find it if I took a shower. You know what I mean? Like I took a hot shower because I only ever found my good ideas in a hot shower. Like I don't think we work like that. I think that's the ideas that we notice. Um, but if you're open to noticing it in the most random places, I think that's when like for example, okay, I don't know if I've talked about this, but I have been thinking about writing a screenplay.
Ooh.
And Nestor and I have honestly like been talking about writing something for a very long time. Um, but he inspired me to get into a specific genre of film that I don't really want to like spoil too much of it because I really do want to like keep it for myself and like work on it. Um, but because I've had this slot and I've been like really marinating on it, I'm getting all of these ideas like from random sources, because I'm not looking for the idea, but I'm like, okay, what is the idea? Give me the idea. What is the idea? Where are we going? What is the thing? You know, and I'm like seeing it in different places. Like, is that the idea? No, that doesn't feel right. That's okay. You know, just kind of like living. Oh, there's a cool idea. Ooh, I kind of like that, but maybe I'll change it here and kind of incorporate it. So I think it's like the more open you are to like finding it wherever, I think that's when
Mm.
you you kind of like it it just kind of like your creativity stays around, I think, a little bit longer because you're like working on something in your head.
Yeah, that's such a good thought. Like, you have to have
Yeah.
more openness. Like, I think it's the same concept of, are you a creative person? Like, well, did you open your heart, your mind, your eyes to that possibility?
Yeah.
And same thing goes with like where you're getting your inspiration, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, inspiration's literally everywhere. Sometimes it is the same movie or same book over and over again, and sometimes it's just like you saw something on the corner of the street that just gave you a good idea. Yeah.
Totally. So I
Wow.
guess the moral of the story is keep your eyes open because
Yeah.
creativity is literally everywhere and you don't know when it's going to click for you.
A good movie for that I think like visually encapsulates that is a movie August Rush.
Hmm.
Do you remember that movie? It's so good.
No.
It's one of my freaking favorites. I love it. It makes me cry. Um, I'm pretty sure he's coded autistic too. But basically, it's this kid who was like born by two musician parents who were like, it was kind of like forbidden romance kind of thing. And then like the mom gave birth and like thought the dad, like, I don't want to spoil it too much, but anyways, so this kid like grows up without his parents, but he was like born from two musician parents. And he's like, music is everywhere, music is in me. And he like starts composing music with like the air, with the streets, with like people walking by. And he's like, you can see him like composing music. And it's like the most beautiful thing. But I think that like encapsulates like literally like creativity is everywhere. You just have to like look, feel it, and then like use it. Anyways, that's gonna make me
That's so
cry. But
beautiful. That's like so
yeah.
perfect.
So hopefully
It's
we
like,
gave the Coco something to really, yeah,
yes. I
really
think
take away in
like
this one.
for this one, this is like a very heartfelt episode because I think we did some more specific episodes where, I talked about like ambition, hustle culture, and like how I've been trapped in that cycle and how like other people are trapped. And then you talked about more like nuanced type of topics. And I think this is more just like us like letting go and being like,
Yeah.
hey, like all
This
these
is the
things
human
aside,
experience.
we're
Yeah.
yeah, we're the human experience of creativity and you all have it. So it's really,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just like a very personal and
Yeah. I feel good. I
connected
feel great.
episode.
I feel like creatively energized, like just having
I
this
know.
conversation.
I know. I'm like,
Ooh, I know. Ooh, okay. We're gonna have to keep going. We're gonna have to keep this energy going. To the Cocos, I hope this like kicks off your week. We're 1 week away from Thanksgiving, literally. When this episode comes out, next week is Thanksgiving. We'll have a Thanksgiving special episode. So if you thought you wouldn't listen to us on Thanksgiving Day, you thought wrong, because we're going to give you something to listen to with your family or friends or by yourself or whatever on Thanksgiving Day.
yes. And
But
also,
for
isn't that
now,
our like anniversary type of?
kind of. Yeah, it's like our anniversary is right in between that episode and the episode that comes out like the first week of December. So we're going to have two specials in a row. We're going to have a Thanksgiving special, which is just something silly and fun for you to like be entertained with, and then we're going to do our anniversary special the week after. And we have huge giveaway information. Before we end the episode, we should probably tell you guys. You
Yes.
probably heard an ad in the middle of this episode talking about puzzles. But if you would like to win, all you have to do is leave a review for the podcast. It has to be a written review. So just leave 5 stars or 2 stars or 18 stars, but it has
Any
to have
stars
some words with it
and some
alongside it.
words.
And then
Yeah.
you'll be entered. And we will choose our giveaway the week of Christmas, probably, or the week of January 1st, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't think we actually
exactly.
nailed
And
that
then
down.
we didn't really nail it down, but we're going to leave it open for a couple of weeks because, um, well, we don't want you to wait forever, but at the same time, it's a pretty awesome gift. And I think if you're keen to get a puzzle before the giveaway, please don't wait because we do have our promo code for 20% off and you should use that. These are honestly so freaking adorable and super aesthetic. It's going to be the perfect gift for all your girlies, all your, friends that you're like, I need to get something cute, but I don't want to spend $1 million. It's honestly so perfect. You get that for them, you're done and dusted. It wraps up perfectly because it's a square little box. Do it.
It's so cute. Yeah.
You have to get these.
Yes.
So if you can't wait, go ahead, buy one for yourself. But if you're like, I'm going to try them all. I'm going to win the giveaway, and they're all coming to me. Then you enter, you write your review, and you're going to hopefully win the giveaway. So we'll give you a closing date, hopefully at the Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah, exactly. So TBD, this is for the early listeners. This is kind of like the first you're really hearing about it. We dropped it in last week's episode, but yeah, a little bit more detail here and a little bit more detail next week. So thanks for listening. This has been the Coconut Grove Podcast. You can follow us at Coconut Grove Pod. You can follow me at Katie Desson and Ashleigh at Ashleigh Hansen. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. If you watch this episode, hi. And if you listen, go watch it because Ashleigh showed some stuff that you probably want to see visually.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Like, subscribe, all those wonderful
rate,
things.
Review, send to your friends, screenshot, let everybody know that you love being a Coco and that you also love Uggs. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.